Phase 2.
Phase 2? So you just gonna keep that to yourself?
Just follow my lead, okay?
Just drop it.
Bombs away.
Split now.
Holy! Jesus!
The Fate of the Furious roars into theaters around the world this week. For his review of this and other new movies opening the Easter weekend, let's bring in our film critic, Richard Crouse. Good morning, Richard.
Nice to see you.
The Fate of the Furious, that's a mouthful.
It is. It should be one of those exercises that you do to warm up your vocal cords.
Exactly.
You know, The Fate of the Furious is the 8th part of the Fast and the Furious franchise. And it's fast, it's furious, but it's just not that much fun.
Oh.
And that's kind of the problem here. It's long. It is about 2 hours and 20 minutes long. And the thing that made the other movies kind of compelling was that despite all the horseplay with the cars and all that kind of stuff, they were always about something. They were about family. They were about family, whether they're your biological family or not, your friends can form this unit. And I think that's what people really kind of responded to with these movies. There's always a speech from Vin Diesel, at least one, usually 2 or 3, where he's like, family is everything, throughout all these movies. And this kind of leaves that behind. They give lip service to it, but really what this is kind of a hybrid of James Bond and the Avengers. So somehow, in 8 movies, this movie franchise has gone from being about, you know, these mechanics and car drivers who would race the streets of whatever city they happen to be in, to people that are stealing weapons of mass destruction and to try and avoid, you know, worldwide terrorism. I don't know how it happened. I don't think they know how it happened either. You know, I just wish that this was more fun. You've got The Rock in here, Dwayne Johnson's in here, Jason Statham. You've got people that are normally a whole lot of fun to watch on screen, and in this one, they kind of aren't. So it's like 2.5 out of 5 stars.
Oh, that's too bad. Okay. Will it be the last?
No, there's at least 2 more coming.
Oh, gosh.
And then there's a spin-off with Dwayne Johnson. So we're going to be fast and I'll be furious for a long time
for
to come.
many years to come. All right, Gifted. This sounds
Gifted
nice.
is kind of a lovely movie. This is Chris Evans. He's put away all his Captain America garb, hung that in the closet, and he's playing the uncle of a very gifted young girl who we're seeing here on the screen, played by McKenna Grace. She is his sister's daughter. His sister has committed suicide. His sister was a math prodigy who kind of was not able to deal with the weight of being the smartest person in the room everywhere that she went. It looks like her daughter inherited the math gene. She can do mathematical equations in her head that it would take professors, you know, a calculator, an abacus, and a chalkboard to figure out. And their grandmother really wants to send the young girl to an advanced school.
Yep.
Chris Evans really wants her to stay here with him, have friends, join Girl Scouts, and have a normal life. So that's the push and pull of this. It's kind of like Kramer versus Kramer and Little Man Tate kind of smashed together. And I kind of like this movie a lot. Chris Evans is a really charming actor in something that doesn't involve being a superhero.
Right.
And the relationship between he and the little girl is fantastic. So it's 3 out of 5 stars, or 3.5 out of 5 stars.
And women everywhere will fall in love with him yet again.
I think that's probably true.
Maudie is the next.
Maudie is Ethan Hawke and the great Sally Hawkins. Maudie is the story of Maud Lewis. Maud Lewis, if you grew up in Nova Scotia, as I did, you will know the name. And probably somewhere, either in your attic or your basement, have a print of a Maud Adams painting. She was a woman born into poverty. She was disabled. And to sort of just create some sort of life for herself, to make her own money, she took a job as a housekeeper for a man who we're seeing on screen here, played by Ethan Hawke, Everett Lewis. They lived in a 12 by 12 foot shack and eventually fell in love and had kind of a tumultuous relationship. To pass the time, she started to paint. And then her paintings became world famous. Richard Nixon bought one of them. It was hanging in the White House. And that caused a bit of strife in the relationship as well. But at the heart of it, they really did love one another. So this is really an unconventional romance with terrific performances. For me, it's 3 out of 5 stars. I liked this movie. Maybe it's my Nova Scotian roots showing there.
Very nice. Finally, Their Finest.
This is Gemma Arterton in a story that is about the World War II heroes that never picked up a gun, that never went to the front lines. She plays a woman who is recruited to write what they call the slop. That's the women's dialogue in wartime propaganda films. And instead of writing the slop, she comes up with a story, a hero story about two women who helped rescue soldiers from Dunkirk. And this is the story about how this movie was made to raise the spirits of the British people and to really kind of, create an atmosphere that we're winning, even if it doesn't feel like it right now. It's an old-fashioned movie, their finest, but, it's kind of a lovely movie. I like anything that's kind of about movies and how they get made anyway. This is an unusual take on this. The book it's based on is called Their Finest Hour and a Half, which gives you an idea of what it's all about. For me, it's a 3 out of 5 star movie.
Okay, pretty good week overall.
It's not a bad week. And some, other than the Fate of the Furious, some smaller movies that are sort of palate cleansers from these big franchise movies.
Perfect for the Easter weekend.
Absolutely.
Richard Crouse, nice to see you. Happy Easter. We'll see you next week.
Absolutely.